love it when Dolly comes by. Like, I don't know, she's awesome. She comes in and we're always happy when she comes in. Then when she leaves, we're always happier because she was here. And she's coming in now. Here she is, Dolly Parton, everybody. There she is. You're right there. Hello, Dolly. Sit down right there. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's so good to see you again.
Good to see you.
I was just saying before you walked in that we're always so happy when you come by, but we're always happier after you've been here.
I thought you were going to say you're happier when
No,
I
I
leave.
didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Well, you might have said that sort of. I hope not.
No,
but
no,
anyway, I always look forward to seeing you as well. I've been excited all morning.
You make us happy.
Well,
How are you? How's life been?
Well, life's good and busy.
You know, you say busy because you have so many things going on, and I think we should break them down for my sanity too, because you put out quality projects, but they're all over the place. You have music and different TV shows, and let's start with Dumplin, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so explain Dumplin to me.
Well, Dumplin is a movie. It's based on a bestseller, New York Times bestseller list book of a few years back. And it's a story. It was written by a little girl named Julia Murphy. And she wrote the story, and the little character is a little girl that doesn't have much confidence. She's a little overweight, and so she loves my music and my sayings, and she kind of builds her confidence. Her mother, who is played by Jennifer Aniston, and Jennifer bought the rights to the book, and she's producing it as well. So anyhow, Dumplin is about the little girl that her mother continues. She was like the beauty queen of the day. And then so through the years, she still hosts the contest every year. And her little daughter, who's overweight, wants to be in the contest but can't because she's overweight. So it's just about it was a little story that kind of had me in it. So Jennifer called me and said, this story's kind of about you, and we want to use some of your original music. And would you be willing to write some additional new songs? And I thought, well, yeah, that sounds good. I'd love to. So I was honored and flattered. So that's what Dumplin is.
And so that song that you and Sia did, is that from Dumplin?
Yes, okay. It is. Actually, they play that, I think, in the movie. I don't know if it's the original. See, that's a song I wrote in back '69. I had it out as one of my early albums. And they found this. Linda Perry, who's produced the album, the soundtrack album, they loved the song. Sia loved the song. And so she sang on it, and it's wonderful. We actually used several songs that different artists like Elle King, and we had Alison Krauss, Rhonda Vincent, Macy Gray, and Mavis Staples of the Staples Singers. And so we just had a lot of girls. And Miranda Lambert, we redid Dumb Blonde, but they also played the original in the movie. So just a lot of music with a lot of girls, a lot of guest artists. And Sia and I did a real good job together. I was real proud of that record.
So you're still writing songs now?
Oh, I'm writing songs. 5 of the songs in the new soundtrack album, the Dumplin, are new original songs written by Linda Perry and myself. But then they went back and took a few other songs. The one I did with Elle King is an old song that I did years ago, that Holding On to You. It was in one of my early albums. They just picked some of the old songs and arranged them and brought them up to date.
Where do you write songs now? Like if Dolly, we're gonna write a song. Do you have your own writing room?
When I'm putting on my makeup, I've always got a pad and pencil because I always got something going on. I'm always writing. If I'm taking a bath, I always got either a little tape recorder or something where I don't want to forget that line. If I'm cooking, I've got, I just write songs everywhere. And when I travel, I write a lot on my bus. And so when I have time, and I'll sometimes dream a song.
Really?
Wake up and say, you better write it down, because I used to think I'd remember, but you don't. So it's best to do, to write it then. So I'm just all about it. I love to be able to have time to just take some time to sit, think, and ponder, go out to my lake house or up to my old Tennessee mountain home and really sit and, write songs. But I can write anywhere.
So you will wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, I have a melody or I have some lyrics. Do you have a notepad or do you type it into your phone?
I just have a notepad. Because I always still work like that. I still write all my songs longhand. I don't even use any of the, and I still, when I put down my songs, because I'm so programmed for the old days and has always worked for me, I have my big legal pads to write. I still work with a cassette, and because that's just kind of my mind is set like that, and then, transfer them to, to CDs. But I still work like I always did, and I flow like that. And to do it different kind of blocks my flow, then I have to think about learning some other way. So I just write the way I've always done it.
Do you carry your own cell phone around?
I do.
Yeah?
But I only use my cell phone just to call out and to take calls in. I don't really do a lot of the...
No apps?
Nah.
No
I don't
Bumble?
get it.
No.
I'm surrounded with all my companies, all my friends, anything I want done. If I want, I just tell them what I want out there and all that. So I'm a low-tech girl in a high-tech world.
Dolly Parton is here. Man. Okay, so Dumplin, that was the first thing I want to talk about. But there's also another show, one that you're in, right?
Yes.
It's a different one. I'm separating
both
all the Dolly
Netflix,
projects.
Both Netflix, but the Dumplin is on the feature film of the feature area of Netflix, and the
Heartstrings.
Heartstrings is a movie is based on songs I've written separate. They're the TV part of it.
So each song, if I'm getting this right, because there's a lot of Dolly to take in between all your projects. This one, each song has a story based on the song,
Yes,
right?
It's a movie based on a song that I've written, like Jolene, for instance, is in the first series of this. And so Down from Dover, Two Doors Down, we base music. And then, of course, I introduce the song, kind of tell how I wrote it and all that. And then we just make a story out of it. Now, they're not all at the same time. It makes it sound like, oh, this is a lot of Dolly. And it would be if all this happened at one time. The Dumplin movie will be out before the end of the year. The Strings is not going to be out till probably sometime next year. They'll drop those maybe late in the fall. And so everything, although I'm doing a lot, it sounds like a lot, they're spaced out to where, it's not like hopefully people want to puke when they hear my name.
I don't think that's the case. What is it like for you with clothes? Do people just show up and be like, Dolly, these are clothes we think you'd like? Or do you get online? You ever shop online and go, I like that?
No, I'm lucky because I have Steve Summers over here. He takes care of everything. They'll usually go out and shop, bring stuff in, or sometimes I'll go out like in L.A. I know a couple of people that own some stores. I can go out after hours or early on, or if I see something in a window, I'll go in and look at it. But as far as most of my things are either bought off the rack and tailored to fit me because I'm odd shape. I'm little. I got big boobs but little narrow shoulders and I'm a little person, so I have to get like bigger things to fit certain things, and they have to be altered and stuff like that. And my stage clothes are all custom made.
Do you take one of those big boxes with all the stage clothes and do you pick each show, or do you have them all set up before you go out?
Well, when we travel, like on tour, we have huge big wardrobe boxes, those big things that they lock.
Yeah.
Those metal things that they put on trucks and take them, and then they open them up, and I can look at whatever mood I'm in that night for whatever town I'm in, whatever type of show. I think I'm in a blue mood tonight, or I'm in a white mood tonight, or I'm in a pink mood tonight. So I just pick, like a few hours before the show, I know what color that town feels like to me.
What is your rider? Like when you go into a room, do you have certain kind of food you want?
Well, usually I live on my bus, and I just pull right up to the bus door. So most of my things are already in. But usually I just need water, and or like fruit, like a fruit plate, like cheese and fruit. But that's more for people that come in and out. For myself, I just have mostly what I want on my bus anyway.
I get really motion sick. I can't go anywhere. I sit in the back of a car. I get on a bus. I get motion sick immediately. How do you do moving around?
Well, I love to travel. I love my bus. I have trouble riding in the back of a car.
Me too.
Even on a school bus. I used to get motion sickness on a school bus, but then we lived in the mountains and they went around and around the thing. And that's sometimes when I fly, I have a tendency to get motion sickness. I don't like to fly. But I don't have that trouble with my tour bus. I guess it's because they're the way that they're, the springs or the whatever it is, how they make them to where you don't feel the motion as much. So I don't have trouble with that, but I don't like turbulence. I don't know if that's just scaredy cat turbulence, making you feel, or just the motion, and probably a little bit of both.
After all these years, you still get scared? Because I still get scared after all these years of turbulence.
I don't fly. I'll tell everybody. I don't care. I'm not ashamed of it. I don't like to fly. I'm like my daddy. I don't want no higher up than pulling corn or no lower down than digging taters like my dad did. I want to be on the ground. If I want to stop, I want to get out. You can't very well go up to the pilot and say, hey, I want to get out now. So you do? Yeah. But I don't like to fly. I don't like it for different reasons. I get motion sickness. I don't like that helpless feeling that I can't get out if I want to. And so I travel by my bus when I can. And when I do fly, we usually fly private jet, it's really hard doing commercial anymore just because it's such a zoo, anyway. But I just take my bus anytime I can.
I'm curious about you as a songwriter because what's your perspective now? Like, what do you have to say now?
Whew, well, I'm just glad that I made it back in the day, because I tell you, it's really hard for writers. We're always fighting for the rights to, be paid for what we do, and as publishers and all. And for myself, I don't have to, worry about it so much now as it, it being my bread and butter. But you still want to be credited and paid and, protected for, for the rights that you leave for your family and whatever you're leaving behind. But it's a different world now with all this music and just the way that everything is sold now compared to what it was when I made it. Now I just go with the flow and, do whatever. I came from like the dark ages into the new age, with all the stuff. I used to record albums where we'd go in 3 hours. Is how old I am. We'd go in like from 10 to 1 to a whole album. And
wow.
Most of it being live, with the band. That was back in the early days of RCA and all that. But now you can record anywhere, from your house, from your barn. And that's all good. It's good and bad. But I'm just glad that I came from that old world and have been able to motivate and move into this new one and still be important in it.
Has anyone come up to you and said, hey, we should do a biopic, like a real biopic on you? Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
Well, I just wait till the right time and say, well, I'll consider everything. I just take everything into consideration, and I know when it's the right time to do things. Some things just don't feel right for me to do at all. And then sometimes I can justify things based on what's going on in the world and, in the times. And so.
Who would play you think?
I don't know right now. But I'm going to do my story on stage and in film. And at that time, I'm sure we'll find the right person. Do you have anybody in mind? If I did it today?
If you did it today, it would have to be obviously someone who could do it all. Meaning, one of these people that could sing, dance, be funny. You have such a like a delicately awesome skill set because you are multifaceted. I mean, you're Jennifer Lopez before Jennifer Lopez was Jennifer Lopez. Like, you're the first one of. And I mean that full sincerity.
Well, that's a nice compliment. Thank you.
Who would play? Amy, what do you think?
I just feel like looking at her, right, because she's so much taller, but Jennifer Nettles comes to mind because she sings, she dances, she acts. Like she's done Broadway. She's a powerful voice, but she's just so much taller. I want someone.
We'd have to get her a big boob job too.
Well, yes. I mean, we'd have to do. I don't know that we'd find the Dolly size, but.
When you go in public, or do you have to disguise yourself in public, or do you try to stay out of?
I don't disguise myself. Which, by the way, I love Jennifer Nettles. Yes. She would be great. She's a wonderful talent. I love her personally, and. No, I don't. I don't try to disguise myself. Many, many years ago, one time I went Christmas shopping with my sisters, and they said, well, won't you kind of disguise yourself so we can get out and really do some shopping and do all that? Mm-hmm. So I wore a black wig, and I wore some clothes that didn't have the whole thing. And so we were in the record shop. We was buying some records for some friends, and I said, hey, Cassie, do you think so-and-so? And someone said, oh, my God, it's Dolly Parton. I said, my voice. People know my voice as much as they know my look. So then they all came over, and they said, are you? And I said, well, yeah. And so I went back to the house and took all that off and put my own stuff back on and went back out Christmas shopping as myself.
And did people freak out?
To see me?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't freak out. I'm such a personable person. I love people, and they've kind of grown up with me. I really think people look at me like an aunt or a sister or a friend. So they don't just rush me or anything like that. Sometimes they'll say, Are you who I think you are? And I'll say, well, I don't know who you think I am. Or, stuff like that. And I welcome the fans. If I'm out like that, I welcome it. I wanted to be a star. And so I know where, if I really need to get something done, I know the times of day that I can do it. I know the restaurants I can go to where you're not bombarded, where you really can eat. And I don't mind it if people come over, now and then, because that's who I am.
When Burt Reynolds passed away, you posted a picture. How close were you and Burt?
Well, we worked real well together, and we'd done some other projects together, too, some talk shows and different things that we had done, some specials, where we were both guests on them. But he was like a brother or like a relative, he was like a good old boy. He was just like people thought he was. And I was sorry to see him go, but he hadn't been in good health in a long time. And I wasn't surprised, but I was saddened by it.
Was he so good looking?
He was in the day.
Like who, and even aside from Burt Reynolds, like now, the Ryan Goslings, you look at them and you go, wow, like this is amazing look. Who back in the day was so good looking that you met? Guy or girl where you're like, wow, I cannot believe that a human can look that pretty.
I don't think I met him. I just look at everybody. Everybody's pretty to me in their own way. But I guess Burt at that time, people thought he was like a really good-looking guy. But nobody really comes to mind. I never met him.
Paul, the salad dressing guy, Paul Newman. Or was
Oh, yeah, I love
okay,
them.
see, because
yeah.
we only
and
see
Robert
him
Redford and all
old.
those people. Yeah, I thought they were all good looking. But I had a good looking husband, so I didn't think that much about how good looking they were. I would just say, ooh, he's good looking or whatever. But I didn't swoon and all that. But yeah, but they were, you see good looking man. I'm like Will Rogers. I never met a man I didn't like. So I know who's the good looking ones, and there are different looks and different styles. And I appreciated them all.
What do you think about me, though, Dolly?
I think you're a doll.
Oh, hey.
I love that curly hair.
Oh,
I told you, there's
come
always
on.
something good about everybody, and I
Come
go
on.
to that.
Well, listen, Dolly, I love it when you come by.
Yeah, I love being with you, and I really always appreciate you letting me come to hawk my wares.
You
as
light the
always do.
room up. So just to recap, Dumplin.
Dumplin is going to be coming out before the end of the year, the feature film, and the album is coming out November the 30th, RCA Sony Records. So that's coming out in time for Christmas, so people can go buy the Christmas album. And I've got all these wonderful singers, as I mentioned, some really nice new songs. So hopefully people are going to enjoy that. And then next year sometime, the Heartstrings series will be starting out.
What's Jennifer Aniston like as a person?
Oh, she's wonderful. Love her, love her, love her. We're
Yeah?
going to actually be doing some shows together. I'm going to do Jimmy Fallon and maybe Ellen and some of the ones we're going to be promoting this. So hopefully we'll get to do some things together in the next few weeks. And so we're going to be promoting that. And then I'm doing a new series with 9 to 5 with Jane and Lily after all these years. They're doing another series, or not a series, a sequel to 9 to 5. And so that'll be out sometime maybe next year.
So what's that? I mean, I know I've seen the original, but what's going to happen in the new one?
All through the years, we've been trying to find something that would work for us, and I just thought, well, that first one was so good, and I always used to say I don't like chewing my tobacco but once, because I really don't like sequels if they're not as good as the original, and they never did come up with anything that I thought was great. But with this new surge of Me Too movement and equal pay, that sort of thing, so they thought, well, this would be a good time to do that. So they did come up with a new idea, and Rashida, is that how you pronounce her name? Jones,
Rashida
Quincy
Jones,
Jones'
yeah.
daughter. Yeah, she's co-writing it with Pat Resnick, who, and hopefully she might be in it. I don't know about that, but it's about 3 new girls that are working at Consolidated, the company Jane, Lily, and I were in the first one. So they're still having some of the problems. So then they think, well, who are those 3 women that made so many changes around here so many years ago? So they search us out. We're all 3 now, Lily, Jane, and I, successful women in our own right. So they come to us, and we all get together. So it's like the 6 of us then create some new chaos and some fun stuff and cover the issues, but without it being too totally political.
Okay, I'm pumped for this.
Yeah,
No,
me too.
it's going to be so good.
Then there's 9 to 5, the musical. The songs I wrote, it's opening at the Savoy in London in February. So, Lord, that show ain't never going to die.
And you're just going broke, huh?
Working 9 to 5.
You still love singing that song?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
That's a fun one. I love it because everybody likes to sing along with me. Yeah, that's a fun one to sing.
What's your favorite song to sing?
Probably that one for fun.
Yeah.
I think I Will Always Love You because every singer loves to sing a ballad that's got slow and middle and at the end where you can sing as much as you want. That's always fun to sing. Jolene, I love to sing too.
Do you have any songs that people love from you? You're like, man, I kind of wouldn't sing that one anymore if I didn't have to.
No, I don't have those because every night my audience is different, and I look at like these people came to hear these songs, and just because I did it last night for another set of people don't mean I have the right to keep everything anything in, because I like to present it every night. Like that's the first time they've heard it live.
Look at you.
I know. I'm like, is she real?
So much to learn.
Like, she's so
It's like a
amazing.
master class in its awesomeness every time you come in.
I just
Yeah.
made all that up.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. Well, whatever. Yeah. I mean, Bobby, that's
Okay.
a good
Well,
way
I'm
to
glad
define
you fell
it.
for it.
Yeah.
A master class. Have you ever, do you know Oprah's master class? Have you ever heard of it? Okay, I feel like Dolly's
Dolly's
you
the
need
original
to do
Oprah.
it, or you're doing it here right now. It's
Oh.
where you're just speaking and talking to people about all your life experiences and where you are and how you got there. And I feel like you're full of so much wisdom.
Well, I'm full of it, all right. But one of these days, though, hopefully someday I'm going to do kind of like a one-woman show to where I'll go out and tell my stories and do my little songs and not have to, have a whole big production and just kind of do like a little motivational. I get often asked to do that. But I guess when you've lived as long as I have and you've been in the business and all facets of it, I've been very blessed in my life. And so that in my older years, hopefully I'll have several more, but I think that would be a good way to spend, a lot of my older years.
Well, let
doing
me
that
say,
type of thing.
it has been a treat to talk to you again, Dolly. It always
Thank
is.
you. Well,
whatever you want to sell.
These old bones will tell my story. You remember
I
my
do,
song,
I
These Old
do.
Bones? It's one of the songs played by the Kathleen Turner. You remember her, the old actress?
I do.
She's playing the story of Old Bones, the old clairvoyant woman. It's one of the stories in the Heartstrings series.
Oh, is that right?
So every time I think of These Old Bones, I think of you.
Well, thanks. That's
But not old bones, just bones.
just bones. Just bones
Just
in
my
general.
Bobby bones.
Well, Dolly, it's great to see
Thank
you.
you.
Whatever you want to sell, grills, songs.
Okay.
Will
I'll
you
come
come
and grill
by?
you about
Yes,
songs.
whatever
How's
it is. Dolly Parton, everybody. There she is. We'll be back in just 1 second.
It's a Bobby Bones Show.